Okay, heto na nga, may breaking news po tayo patungkol kay Congressman Polong Duterte at itong si Zaldico, no? Naglabas po ng nagpapa-interview po ang itong lawyer ni Zaldico at sabi dito na si Zaldico raw ay may bagong ilalabas na ebidensya. Mamaya ipapakita natin 'yan ha. At unahin muna natin itong pasabog na statement ni Congressman Paulo Polong Duterte. He was very concerned patungkol po dito na mukha yatang bumabalik na ang mga oligarchs dito sa Pilipinas. At yan po ay nakakatakot. Nung panahon po ni Pinoy, kung matatandaan po natin, ay usong-uso po ang mga oligarchs na parang sila yung nagkokontrol sa mga utak ng politiko. Okay? Siyempre, dahil sa pera, kakagat talaga ang mga politicians, especially yung mga politiko na mga gahaman sa pera. Yung mahilig talaga sa pera, no? Na walang katapusang kain ng pera, di ba? So ngayon, parang bumabalik yan ngayon sa administrasyong Marcos. At meron pang mga narinig, no? Itong si Congressman Paulo Polong Duterte, meron siyang mga narinig na ito raw si Ramon Ang. Okay, kilala naman natin itong si Ramon Ang ng San Miguel, no, na may-ari diyan. Ay siya raw di umano ang caretaker president in a supposed military back reset. Para bang itong mga oligarchs na ito ay parang hindi na nila nagugustuhan ang ginagawa ng administrasyong Marcos, ay kayang-kaya po nila i-manipulate itong presidente na ito, na i-reset na nila. Kasi alam mo naman yung mga oligarchs, isa yan sa mga pwedeng mag-control sa gobyerno natin. At yan po ay nakakatakot. Okay? So, yun po ang una nating pag-uusapan. At pangalawa itong kay Zaldico, no? Pero guys, bago ang lahat, help me po muna na i-like at saka i-share itong video na ito para guys kakalat ito sa taong bayan. Okay? Sabay-sabay muna tayong mag-like and share sa Donmar TV. Itong video na ito, like and share. 1, 2, 3, go! Okay, naka-like and share na ba lahat? And also guys, sa mga bago pa lang dito sa aking channel, mag-subscribe na po kayo para lagi kayong updated sa ating mga balita. And at the same time, yung mga cellphone ninyo, ma-notify yan kung meron tayong breaking news, bagong uploads, o kung nagla-live ang ating channel. Ma-notify kayo lahat dyan. Kaya mahalaga po na mag-subscribe tayo sa Donmar TV. 1, 2, 3, go! Ayan, nakasubscribe na ba lahat? Okay, so heto po yung lumabas sa social media. Okay? Ito po'y pinost ni Congressman Paulo Polong Duterte 4 hours ago. And marami na po ang nagsishare nito at pinag-usapan na po ito ng social media. Ito yung statement of Representative Paulo Z. Duterte. On reports of oligarchs orchestrating a military-backed reset and installing a business tycoon as caretaker president. Okay? So, ibig sabihin ay itong mga oligarchs na ito ay sila raw yung parang director kung ano ang magiging mangyari sa Pinas, na it will be wala naman yung mga oligarchs na yan, hindi naman yan wala naman silang concern sa taong bayan. Ang kanilang concern ay makabenefit sa gobyerno sa mga negosyo nila. Okay? Sabi pa niya dito, the recent Politico report, okay, sang media, claiming that Ramon Ang, yung kalbo na isa siguro ito o talagang pagmamay-ari ng San Miguel, di ba? Just correct me if I'm wrong, ha? Is being eyed as a caretaker president in a supposed military-backed reset is nothing short of alarming and outright unconstitutional. So, ibig sabihin, naaalarma po itong si Congressman Paulo Pulong Duterte na itong mga oligarchs na ito, makonsider namang oligarch itong si Ramon Ang, di ba? Na natatakot siya dito na sila na yung magkokontrol sa presidente natin. Kagaya noong kinokontrol ng mga ilan na mga oligarchs itong si Pinoy. Kung yan ang resulta, kung meron tayong presidente na weak leader. Hindi kagaya ba ni former President Duterte na hindi mo talaga makokontrol. Under ni Duterte ang mga oligarchs noon. Siya lamang po ang presidente na kusang hindi takot na humingi ng kanilang mga tax na hindi nila binabayaran, kung maalala ninyo. And one of those companies are the ABS-CBN. Kasi po mga mayayaman po ang may-ari ng mga media. Okay? Sabi pa ni Kong Polong dito, if true, kung ito ay totoo, ito po ay signal ng nakakatakot ng ating kasaysayan, where the Philippines looks less like a republic and more like a banana republic run by the highest bidder. Diba? So, kung sino yung mayaman, sila na yung magkokontrol sa atin. Hindi yan pwede. Dapat yung binoto ng taong bayan, yun po ang magdidictate sa gobyerno natin. O hindi man masama mang gamitin ang dictate, yun ang masusunod sa mga plano ng ating bansa. Okay? Why? Because kung magaling ka na presidente, hindi ka magpapakontrol sa mga oligarchs. Ang gagawin mo ay makinig ka sa gusto ng taong bayan at yan po ang i-execute mo. Yun ang trabaho ng presidente. Okay? Hindi po ang presidente nag-aantay lamang kung ano ang sasabihin ng mga oligarchs. E di syempre, si Ramon Ang ngayong mga panahon na ito sa napapansin natin ay sobra pong wala naman akong against sa ginagawa ni Ramon Ang ngayon pero kung mapapansin mo, malaki po ang naitulong ni Ramon Ang sa mga kakulangan ng gobyerno. E di syempre, itong si Ramon Ang business man ito. Mga bilyonaryong businessman po sila. E di syempre kung meron sila mga businesses dito sa Pilipinas, malapit sila sa gobyerno. Yung mga tax, yan ba ay exempted ba itong mga oligarchs na ito? Dahil kung i-analyze mo, may utang na loob ang gobyerno kay Ramon Ang. Dahil si Ramon Ang nagdo-donate po ng mga malalaking mga proyekto. Si Ramon Ang na nga ang sometimes na nagvo-volunteer sa kakulangan ng gobyerno. So mahiya-hiya naman ang gobyernong ito kung hindi masusunod ang mga businesses ni Ramon Ang. O kung meron man mga di syempre, good shot si Ramon Ang sa Pilipinas. Example lang yan si Ramon Ang. Maraming mga oligarchs di ba? Sabi pa dito, 3 na ang nag-a-act na presidente ng Pilipinas. And now, oligarchs are allegedly lining up to install one of their own. Diba? Alam naman natin na ang dami ng gustong maging presidente ng mga sa Pilipinas. Tapos, heto pa, papasok pa itong mga oligarko na ito. Diba? This is not governance, sabi ni Kong Pulong. This is not democracy, sabi ni Kong Polong. This is corporate capture of the state, sabi ni Kong Polong. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng capture of the state? Hindi man literal na inaangkin niya ang gusto niyang mangyari sa bansang ito, pero subconsciously, para na rin sila ang nagkokontrol. Hindi man direkta, pero some of the government officials cannot, hindi nila, ano bang tawag doon? Hindi nila, they cannot, wala silang choice, kundi sometimes masusunod yung mga oligarchs kasi may utang na loob sila. Ganun ko na lang i-explain. Okay? And then, and it doesn't stop there, sabi ni Kong Polong. I have received information. Itatagalogin ko kasi meron iba dito mga audience ko na gusto nila itagalog ko, no? Meron akong natanggap na mga impormasyon na meron raw ibang mga business tycoon na mga personalidad na pinipressure si Bersamin na i-resign. And that he is allegedly funding the group of Bronner. Ito po yung nakakatakot, Again, tatagalogin ko para maintindihan ng lahat. Si Kong Polong po ay meron po siyang natanggap na impormasyon na meron pong ibang mga business na tycoon na mga na personal nilang pinipressure na si Bersamin na ma-resign. And allegedly, nagpa-funding raw sa grupo ni Bronner. So, this is unconstitutional. Hindi na po ito dumaan sa tamang ng proseso ng governance sa Pilipinas. Hindi na po tama. Okay? Kung itong report, tatagalugin ko na lang kung itong report na ito ay accurate, then we are, nakaka-witness po tayo ng full-blown na attempt by powerful businessmen to influence, iko-control, manipulate, and posibleng direct the highest level of government. So, ibig sabihin ni Kong Polong, baka meron na pong nagko-control kay BBM ngayon. Yan po'y nakakatakot, di ba? Sabi pa dito, ang mga oligarchs raw ay bumalik na sila na ang parang nag-control sa Pilipinas. Okay? Itong bansa na ito, hindi po ito laruan ng mga bilyonaryo. Hindi ito negosyo na pwedeng i-reset kapag hindi na sila masaya sa takbo ng pamahalaan. E di syempre, bumagsak ang ekonomiya sa liderato ni Bongbong Marcos. And now, ang tanong ko sa iyo, sino ang unang naaapektuhan? Mga oligarchs. Sila yung unang naaapektuhan sa kanilang mga big businesses. Billions po, bilyones po ang nawawala sa kanilang mga negosyo. So they have to help the president kung sa ganun. And if they will help the president, magiging may utang na loob ang presidente natin. Then they can control the president. Di ba nagigets nyo ang aking punto? No? The power to choose leaders belongs to the Filipino people. Ibig sabihin, tayong mamamayang Pilipino, tayo ang may kakayahan para kung sino yung pipiliin nating mag-lead sa atin sa demokrasyang bansa. Not to tycoons making backdoor deals or financing political maneuvers. Kasi kung matatandaan nyo, every election po, mga oligarchs na po ang nagsusuporta dito sa mga tumatakbo. Masenador, makongressman, binaback-upan yan ng mga oligarchs kasi sila yung may pera. Pagkatapos ng manalo ng kanilang binaback-upan, tinutulungan ngayon ng mga politiko ang kanilang mga business. And that is not right. Kasi tayo dito equal. Meaning to say, ang mga mayayaman mas lalong yumayaman. Ang mga pobre nating mga kababayan mas lalong maghirap. If ganito po ang sundin natin na style ng governance, na umaasa na lang ang gobyerno sa mga oligarchs, that is dangerous. Pinutol yan sa panahon ni former President Duterte. Okay? Pinutol yan. Kasi hindi po maaasenso ang bansa natin kung ang oligarchs ang mag-dominate sa atin sa Pilipinas. Okay? Sabi pa ni Kong Pulong dito, hindi po binibenta ang Pilipinas. Okay? The Philippines is not for sale. Mali ba yung Tagalog ko? Hindi po hindi po benta. Basta the Philippines is not for sale. Okay, nahirapan ako magtagalog eh. Pasensya na ha. Bisaya tayo oh. Sa Bisaya pa, ang Pilipinas dili na baligya. The presidency is not a corporate seat. Correct. And the Filipino people are not employees waiting for instructions from an oligarch boardroom. Tayong mga Pilipino, bawat isa sa ating bumoto tayo ng mga politicians. Hindi po tayo mga trabahante ditong mga oligarchs na ito. Diba? Itong mga politicians na ito, sila yung magsiservisyo sa atin. Hindi po tayo yung magsiservisyo dito sa mga oligarchs dito. Mali. Pero parang gano'n na nga ang nangyari ngayon eh. 'Di ba? Unti-unti nang bumabalik. Kung meron mang nakatagong mga agenda, ilabas ninyo, sabi ni Kong Pulong. Kung meron mang mga sekreto na mga pinag-uusapan o mga dealings, ilantad ninyo, sabi ni Kong Pulong. Pero wag ninyong kalimutan, hindi kami natatakot ang mga Pilipino, tayong sambayan ng Pilipino. Hindi kami susuko at hindi namin hahayaang maging laruan ang bansa natin, correct? Na sila lamang ang yumayaman at tayong mga Pilipino ay lugmok sa kahirapan. Hindi kami papayag dyan. Di ba? Ang mga Pilipino ay deserve ng gobyernong hindi po under sa mga oligarko na mga sindikato. Yan ang sabi ni Kong Pulong. Sa mga miyembro ng AFP at sa mga miyembro ng PNP, tandaan nyo na promises of momentary wealth will be nothing if our children and their children will ultimately suffer from selfish acts of few. Okay? Remember your mandate. Protect the Constitution and fight for your country. Ibig sabihin, kayong mga kasundaluhan, huwag kayong loyal sa mga politicians. Kahit mali-mali na ang ginawa ng mga politicians, sinusunod nyo pa rin. Mali yan, AFP at PNP. Ang mandato po ng PNP sa konstitusyon natin, sundin nyo ang pulso ng mamamayang Pilipino. Okay? Hindi po ang presidente natin, hindi po ang vice president natin ang sundin ninyo kung ang bansang ito ay nag-undergo ng crisis. Ang sundin po ninyo ang majority of the Filipino people kung ano po ang gusto nila. Tandaan nyo yan, ha? Kayong mga AFP at mga kasundaluhan. Fight for your country. Okay? So kayong mga audience ko dito, I hope na intindihan nyo itong pasabog na statement ni Congressman Paulo Pulong Duterte. Papayag ba kayo na kokontrolin tayo dito sa mga oligarchs na naman? Kagaya ng nangyari noon sa atin? Mag-comment, babasahin natin ang inyong argumento. Alam ko, marami dito mga audience ko, magaling mag-comment. Sige. Anong opinion nyo dyan? Papayag ba kayo? Kung papayag kayo, ilagay nyo ang reason nyo. Kung hindi kayo papayag, ilagay nyo ang rason nyo dyan. Okay? Punta tayo dito sa lawyer, abogado nitong si Zaldico na sinabi niya may tinatago pa. Marami pang tinatago itong si Zaldico na ilalabas niya. Yan. Okay? Panoorin po natin ito, ang kanyang interview.
Things more difficult for me. But I'm happy that in retrospect, he did not say anything that I would not have approved of anyway.
Okay.
And I keep saying this, when my witness wants to tell a story, I let the witness tell it. I don't censor, I don't dilute what they try to say, because I'm confident that they're going to be telling the truth anyway. So I'm okay with that.
Can he tell his story to me?
I think, yeah, eventually he should. I trust you. Maybe he should trust you. I think he can trust you.
So 3-part series, attorney, is there a succeeding one that is still forthcoming?
I did hear that he said that meron pang susunod.
Meron pa raw susunod, ha? Ano kaya ito? Yan ang aabangan ng mga Pilipino.
Didn't he say that? I think he said that.
I'm not sure.
At the last part, yeah. I think
Okay,
he said
so
that.
meron pa.
I think so.
But not sure.
I'm sure that the story isn't complete. Because I know the complete.
Kasi ako naniniwala ko dyan, maraming ebidensya itong si Zaldico. Mga screenshots, pictures, mga conversations. Zaldico, kung nakikinig ka, ipunin mo lahat yan. Kung yan po ang kung tawag dyan sa Bisaya kasi panagang. Yan ang panagang mo. Yan po ang shield mo. Yung mga ebidensya. Na may hawak. Yung ebidensyang hawak mo ngayon. Yun po ang panlaban mo.
Story. And that was not complete.
Would you be able to share the rest of the story? Or
No, it's his
I can
story.
imagine
It's his story to
come
tell.
from him.
Lawyers should never testify for a witness or for a client.
But what is that? It's always, sana parang buhay pa ako, to live, I am alive to tell the story, palaging ganun eh.
That's what got me. I think that came out in part 1. He said, marami pa akong sasabihin, sana hindi ako mapatay bago ko masabi sa inyo lahat. So sabi ko, whoa. So when I heard that, the first thing that came to mind was, oh, this guy is really scared. My client is really, really scared. Parang dead man's, di ba? Dead man's disclosure.
Okay.
So,
All right. There could be a part 4. Do you know who egged him? Who initiated this?
no.
Or you don't want to tell me?
I don't know. I have my suspicions, but these are not verifiable. And I'd rather not.
Okay. What about the timing, Attorney Rui? This was released, as you mentioned a while ago, Friday. That was the day of the hearing, the resumption of the hearing, headed by Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson of the Blue Ribbon Committee. In fact, while I was watching that, I found out about this video of your client. And also to add, that was 3 days before the Iglesia ni Cristo huge rally. Tell us about the timing. There are speculations and concerns about the timing.
I was personally embarrassed by the timing because I had written Senator Lacson because of the invitation. The invitation was served on me. And I wrote him. I said that client cannot come. He's undergoing medical treatments abroad. And, yada, he's afraid, and it might prejudice the cases that have already been filed. And, all of a sudden, this comes out unexpected. And I said, man, this is going to make me look bad in the Senate because Senator Lacson will think that I took him for a ride. The truth is, I didn't know. In fact, I also said that I was about to leave for Tokyo, for Japan. And I did leave. And everyone was saying, I flew because I was meeting with him. There was that ridiculous rumor.
Yeah. That he's in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, he's around, he's quite near the Philippines.
If
Near
he
enough
was-
that he can fly anytime and attend the INC rally.
And if he was in Japan, he wasn't with me, and I didn't know. So I don't think he was in Japan. And I was there with my office. It was a long planned trip.
Matagal na niyo po itong
Yeah, I
plano.
submitted my ticket to the Blue Ribbon Committee. I paid for that ticket in July.
I see. All right. Way before you
Way
became the
before.
lawyer of
Way before.
ex-congressman.
I'm not clairvoyant. So.
Zaldico. Okay, let me go back to that. The timing. Sabi mo nga, you're a little embarrassed because you wrote Senator Ping Lacson and basically said you were going to be away, etc., and that your client is still undergoing medical treatment.
Yeah, it looks sneaky, I know. But as to the Iglesia timing, I can't answer that.
Why not?
He has no connections to the Iglesia. He has no political party, so he doesn't favor any party one way or another. He's party list. Diba?
Yeah, but he
Republican.
doesn't favor this particular administration.
Well, obviously not. But not by choice. I think by circumstance.
He initially
Well,
supported the administration.
I'm guessing that he's a lot like me. I vote for a president, and whoever wins, whether or not I voted for that president, I support. Because when you vote for a president, his success is the nation's, and his failure is the nation's. So I've always supported the presidents that even I didn't vote for. I'm assuming that most Filipinos are like that. So, yeah, I'm thinking that he supported this presidency initially.
I mean, surely, because he was very close to the speaker. He was the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. And
There you go,
obviously, and he said, hindi ho ba, siya ang gagawing poster boy.
Yes.
What did he say? Ako ang gagawing poster boy ng kanilang katiwalian.
Katiwalian. Kampanya sa korupsyon.
Right.
Yeah.
Kaya, ano ho ba? Ilalaglag ho ba si Zaldico? Tell us what your client told you.
Well, never mind what he told me. What does it look like now? Diba? He's the fall guy, to put it bluntly.
Why would he? What happened along the way that you can tell us? Of course, I understand that it's very limited what you can tell me, but at least try to help us understand what happened along the way. He left July 19, and apparently, according to him, he was told by the former speaker not to come home. He will be taken care of.
Yes.
And then he realized na yung taken care of pala ay gagawin siyang poster boy
Yeah.
ng korupsyon.
Fall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened along the way? And from July 19, August, September, October, November, in 4 months, what happened? Why was there this falling out between him and the administration?
This is not something that he told me. I wouldn't tell the public anyway, even if he did know. But I'm guessing that he didn't feel taken care of. He felt that things were
Ako, duda ako dyan, no? Sa 4 months na hindi natin nakikita si Zaldico, ay umaasa itong si Zaldico na tulungan siya sa kanyang mga kaalyado. Sino itong mga kaalyadong tinutukoy natin? E di syempre si Martin Romualdez at si Bongbong Marcos. Kasi si Martin Romualdez ang nag-appoint sa kanya dyan bilang chairman. At si Romualdez, pinsan yan ni Bongbong Marcos. So sa 4 months na wala siya, I think, duda natin ito ha, this is my analysis, may communication galing kay Zaldico at itong si Martin Romualdez. Tapos ito, baka pinangakuan itong si Zaldico na wag ka nang bumalik sa Pilipinas kasi mainit pa yung pangalan mo. Kapag pupunta ka dito, baka hindi mo alam kung papaano mo idepensa yung sarili mo, madidihado pa tayong lahat. Parang ganun ba? Ha? So, ang ginawa ni Zaldico ay maghintay lamang sa instruction ng kanyang mga big boss rito. Pero hanggang nagpatuloy ang mga ilang mga araw, nagbuo ng ICI itong si Bongbong Marcos. That lead to the maraming akusasyon laban kay Zaldico. Meaning to say, lahat na siguro ng mga turo-turo, lahat dito napunta na kay Zaldico. Di syempre sabi ni Zaldico, bakit ako lang? 'Di ba? Dapat ipagtanggol nyo naman ako. Kasi ang pera na ito binigay ko sa inyo, parang ganon ba? Tapos ako pa ngayon ang biniblame. So, okay. Wala akong choice rito kundi magsasabi na lang ako ng totoo. Na ang totoo nito, inutusan lang ako. Na itong pera na ito, kukurakutin ko at ibigay ko dito sa mga nag-utos sa akin. Patay tayo dyan. Di ba? So, yan siguro analysis natin ang nangyari sa 4 months nating hindi nangyari, siguro may maraming mga follow-up na mga tawagan na ano bang gagawin natin, babalik ba ako dyan? Huwag mo nang babalik. Kasi kung itong gobyerno ito, interesado pa silang pabalikin si Zaldico, matagal na nakabalik si Zaldico kasi tingnan nyo yung nangyari, Alice Go. Diba? Ginawa ang lahat para mapabalik lang. Yung kay Teves, nahihirapan sila doon kasi sumabit pa sila doon sa Timor-Leste na gobyerno. Dito, wala naman. Hindi naman nag-file ng any asylum itong si Zaldico. Diba? Pero ngayon, na binulgar na lahat ni Zaldico, ayan, pauwiin na kaagad. Gagawin na nila lahat ng resources nila, mapauwi si Zaldico. Ayun naman pala, kaya naman pala. Bakit ngayon lang, di ba? Di ba? Ganyan yung usapan. Ay, kitang-kita. Nakita ko na itong palabas na ito.
Getting worse for him by the day because first the investigations and then he felt that he was being blamed. Now I can say it. Because I said that he felt that he was going to be blamed, and true enough, he was blamed for this. And he feels that I didn't do anything wrong except follow you, follow instructions given to me. And I also said this. If there's anything he's guilty of, it's that lack of strength of character to resist. And it happens. Sometimes we feel a superior force, and we're overwhelmed by awe, by fear, whatever. And we do things against a better judgment.
You can understand, Attorney, of course, that there are different feedbacks from the revelation of your client, especially when he said na he did not, well, not in these words, earn a cent. Hindi siya, wala siyang natanggap doon sa 100 billion. Just to refresh the memory of those watching us tonight. Zaldico basically was saying inutusan siya na mag-insert ng 100 billion pesos sa BICAM.
Which has been verified, by the way.
That's right. Verified by Senator Ping Lacson and I think also even the Senate President. Okay.
Yes.
So yun po, meron na po nagsabing may in-insert na 100 billion.
Yes.
Pero ang sabi niya, 25% of that went to the former Speaker, Martin Romualdez, and President Bongbong Marcos, to which he delivered them in hindi. Sige, please correct me, sir.
No. He said that after the budget was approved, he asked the DPWH people. And he said, magkano ba dyan ang SOP na binibigay normally? Sabi nila, 25% yan. So he said, that means they got 25% or 250 million. He didn't deliver it personally.
25 billion out of the 100 billion.
Correct.
Yeah,
What did I say?
25 billion.
25 million.
Yeah, 250.
250,
So
yeah.
I do recall he said that they were delivered in North and South Forbes and even in Malacanang.
Other deliveries, not the 25, not the 200, not the 25 billion.
It was the 100 billion. Ang sabi niya po ganito, 100 billion was inserted
Yes.
as ordered by Secretary Mina Pangandaman, the
Yes.
DBM Secretary.
Yes.
Nang sinabi pa niya, tinawagan niya o tinanong niya si Undersecretary Bersamin
Yes,
if that
kinonfirm.
was
That's right.
if that was true, because nandun po sila supposedly sa meeting when that 100 billion was discussed to be inserted.
Yes.
And he even after that called the former speaker and asked and told him about this 100 billion insertion.
Yes.
And then ang sinabi daw ni speaker, what the president wants, the
President
president gets. And then there was a 25 billion peso supposed delivery to North and South Forbes.
Oh, I don't remember that, Pinky.
All right.
Did he say there was a 25 billion peso delivery? Now, my recollection is several deliveries were made on different dates. In fact, someone noticed that deliveries were made as early as 2024. And it could not have been Palace spokesperson, Claire something.
Claire Castro.
Claire Castro.
Yeah.
She said, could not have been the 100 billion which was in 2025. Oo nga naman.
Because makikita, may July ata ng
Correct,
2024.
may January
Yeah.
pa. 2024 yun. Itong 2025 was not delivered by him.
Okay, but let's put it at, let's just go to this, attorney. He said he never, wala siyang nakuha doon.
Diyan, yes.
Dito sa 100 billion, di
Yes.
ho ba? That's a big question mark to a lot of people. How can, and I know we've talked about this, the burden of proof really lies with the prosecution. Yung
Yes.
nagbibintang dapat ang nagpapatunay nito.
Correct.
Pero pag tumataas po ang kilay ng taong bayan na wala po siyang tinanggap si dating Congressman Zaldico, is there a way to make them believe that indeed wala po siyang tinanggap?
Only if they believe in the judicial process. Diba, it's easy to make judgments about people. I have judgments about everyone in the street I see, but I don't act, I don't behave towards them on the basis of those judgments. So, I was having this discussion with my wife a few days ago, and I was saying, people want the truth, people demand the truth, but they don't like the consequences of the truth. I'll say this, they want people want the president to resign. But they say, ay, wag na lang because we'd rather not have Sara. You can't have that. You can't do that.
Correct.
The Constitution...
Para yan sa mga dilawan, ha? Mali yun na perception na bahala na mag-corrupt si Bongbong Marcos basta hindi si Sara yung presidente. Di ba? Sablay. Mga dilawan, sobrang sablay po yung mga ganyang mga iniisip ninyo. Di ba? Yan ang palatandaan na kayo po pansariling interest lang ang gusto ninyo. 'Di ba? You are not for accountability, you are not for transparency. Kahit magdakaw yung presidente natin, hahayaan ninyo. So anong ibig sabihin? Basta lang masunod yung gusto nyo na kayo yung maging nasa inyo yung magiging presidente, bahala na magnakaw ang presidente natin. Basta wag lang yung mga Duterte ang mamuno sa bansa natin. Sablay. Kakahiya po kayo, mga dilawan kayo, sobrang mga garapal kayo, di ba?
The Constitution that we ratified says that constitutional succession is vice president succeeds the president.
True.
We voted for the president, we voted for the vice president. We have to give way to the constitutional succession that we
Correct.
ratified. So, in relation to your question, how do I convince people? Let's wait for a court judgment. If you don't have faith in the judicial process, I can't help you. I can't help that because that's a system that we agreed on.
Correct.
We're going to take a very short break. We'll continue our
Pero ang nakakadismaya is pati ombudsman natin nakikialam na rin sa politika. Nakakadiri ka, ombudsman. Ayan, i-forward
with
natin.
Attorney Rui Run. This is on point.
Follow the money.
Talking about his revelation, the three-part series, and obviously you are defending Zaldico because to you he is innocent.
Yes.
If he is innocent, is he willing to put this under oath, his revelations that he's done so far?
Sure. I've told him. that for it to have any value, to me, and to the courts, and therefore to me, it has to be under oath. Now, as to how we'll get that done, there are several ways of doing it. Everyone is saying, uwi ka, do it here.
Opo. Is
I've said
that
this.
an option?
Sure, but that's not an option today. It's not an option that I prefer. But there's a deposition, letters rogatory, perpetuation of testimony, technical things. That
Paano ho yun? Can you explain
Deposition
that to us?
abroad.
Okay.
A
Pero pag
deposition
may
abroad.
depositions abroad, we'll find out where he is.
Sure, because it'll be indicated there in the
Yeah.
oath. It
But
was,
he doesn't want us to know where he is. So how do you
Ways
do the
of doing it.
deposition?
yeah, I can do it.
Pwede. Or pwede po niyang gawin sa isang bansa tapos he flies again to another country. I mean,
There you go.
that's
Yeah.
obviously an option
Yeah,
that
yeah.
he can take. Is it possible that he already did this under oath?
Maybe possible. I don't think so. I don't know. Probably
You
not.
would know
Yeah,
because
I
you're
don't
the
know.
lawyer.
If I don't know, probably not.
To this day, you're saying that it doesn't look like he's done this under oath.
I have no reason to believe that he has.
Why would he do it without your...
That's why I have
So-
no reason to believe that
Okay.
he has. Because
All right.
why would he do it
So,
without me?
Attorney Rui, because a lot of people are saying parang wala ngang value, probative value ito dahil nga it was not taken under oath. And all these other
Sure.
people, hindi ho ba, pumupunta sa Senado, pumupunta sa ICI. I mean, what will prompt him, influence him, push him to actually do this under oath or even come home?
If the government can assure his safety. I heard the ombudsman saying that we will escort him from the tube and then bring him to an armored van with body cams.
Pero nakakatakot pa rin yan. Kasi hawak ng presidente lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno. Ang masuggest ko dyan, babalik mas maganda siguro kung mag-testify si Zaldico na hindi na presidente si Bongbong Marcos. Babalik siya sa 2028 kung sino ang maging presidente at doon mag-take siya under oath. Kasi para sa akin, ako po'y natatakot pa rin sa posibleng kalagayan niya. Kasi alam mo, si Bongbong Marcos is very powerful. Hawak niya lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno. Pwede niyang mamanipulate. Analysis ko yan. Pwede niyang manipulate. Manipulate niya yung ombudsman. Mga desisyon sa House of Representatives, hawak ni Bongbong Marcos. Sa Senado, hati doon, di ba? Meron na doong, especially sa Blue Ribbon Committee, hawak yan. Kampiyan ni Bongbong Marcos. So, malabo ang hustisya na sinasabi ni Zaldico. So ako, sa tingin ko sa analysis ko, baka mas pipiliin na lang ni Zaldico na magtago muna. Saka ako lalabas in the right timing, di ba?
The whole time. And then what? Where are they going to bring him? To general population detention? He's going to get shot after the first 30 minutes. Diba?
What is the scenario you're looking at that's a possibility for him to come home?
House arrest. Or bail. Because I can't talk about it anymore, like last week, because the cases have been filed and I don't want to get into trouble with the Sandigan Bayan. Bail will do it. Because he's afraid of getting killed in jail.
So he still owns the house in Valle Verde?
I think so.
He still owns the condominium in Horizon?
I don't know. I haven't seen the titles, but if the question is, have they been transferred? I don't believe so.
So there could be two options, house arrest or...
Bail.
Which I will fight for tooth and nail, by the way.
That will be, of course, up to the judge.
Absolutely.
But can he be tried? Yeah, obviously, he can be tried even in abstention with you just representing him.
No, after he's arraigned, the court has to acquire jurisdiction over his person, and that can only be done by arraigning him in person. After that, he can be tried in absentia.
Right. And trying him in absentia would mean what to your client? Would that be a harder case to win?
Well, I'd be more comfortable if he testified in his own behalf. I'm not comfortable normally just leaving the prosecution to do their worst and for me just laying back and say, you haven't proven a thing. So to some extent, I'd like the opportunity to prove my client's innocence. So yes, harder to win for me if he doesn't testify.
So the fact that the Ombudsman Remulla was saying that...
Sorry, Pinky, let me interrupt you.
ahead.
But when I say testify, I don't mean testifying in court. Again, he can testify here or there.
Yeah. Attorney Rui, yung pong sinabi ni Ombudsman na pwede siya bumalik dito. As I mentioned a while ago, we will secure him. Kasi kung may mangyari sa kanya, kami pa ang pagbibintangan.
Yeah.
Hindi ho ba?
Yeah.
Is that still suspicious for you? Or concerning? Let me change.
Pinky, suspicious pa rin yan. Kasi si Remulla nga hawak ni Bongbong Marcos. 'Di ba? Ano ang sasabihin ni BBM? Si Remulla ay susunod. Sino ang nag-appoint kay Remulla? Si BBM. 'Di ba? Isunod-sunuran. Halikpwet yan si Remulla.
Yeah, it doesn't assuage my fears. Na kami bahala sa'yo, and then what? If he gets killed, if he gets shot, they'll say, oops, I was wrong, sorry, I tried my best. What can I do? I'm only human. In the meantime, I'm going to have a dead client.
What do you
Who
say?
I believe is innocent, by the way. So I'm going to have a dead, innocent client. That's my problem with the proposition.
What makes him innocent, Attorney Rui?
He's telling the truth. I've seen the evidence. And the evidence says that,
What is the evidence? So far, he's shown us a list of projects doon po sa 100 billion, di ho ba? That's one. To which Senator Ping Lacson said it appears legit and true, right?
first he said it was illogical. And then he said, ay, totoo pala.
And then the second are rather the photos that he sent that form part of his revelation, the three-part revelation. Tell us more.
Some photos.
Some. Oo. What does that prove, number one? I mean, they are suitcases lined up.
Sure.
Is there anything there that you can add that will make the people believe that, number one, sa kanya galing yun, or ipapadala niya, o may laman yung mga... what else can be said about those suitcases?
Well, he did say that he has receipts showing that, proving that, resibo, signed, proving that money was received from one side to the other. But let's give him a chance to disclose that. I don't want to get ahead of him.
These photos, if you can just take a look at them, does that car look familiar to you? Looks like siguro if we can pause, yan po. It looks like a sports car. Can you pause that, please, yan? Na may conduction sticker pa. Is that his car?
I don't know. I can't even identify the car.
Did he even mention why the suitcases have those ribbons? Anything you can tell us about the suitcases?
No, I didn't ask him. Because I was aghast when I saw it. He did say that these are the suitcases delivered to Forbes, did he not? Or to the palace, I'm not sure.
May ano pa dun, oh? Di ba? That price? Do you see that?
Yeah, it says...
$1,499. Bagong bili. Parang bagong bili, attorney. Ay, Sara Maserati. Does he have a Maserati, sir?
I don't know.
Maybe you can ask him a silver or gray Maserati. Because is this... what location is this?
He alluded to Forbes, North and South Forbes. So I'm guessing that, that matches the allusion.
All right. So, let's move on. Yung sinasabi niya pong meron siyang pangalan, meron akong resibo, meron pa ba kaming maaasahan sa kanya na karagdagang resibo?
Yeah, he did say marami pang iba. At the ending of part 3, I'm almost sure, he did say marami pang iba, pakihintay lang ho. I know he has receipts.
But what receipts? What were journals? What are they? Photos?
No, signed receipts.
I delivered.
Yeah, I delivered 1 peso on this date. Signed by, I don't know, Doña Ineng.
Pasensya na ho kayo. Uso pa ba talaga yung mga taong tumatanggap at nagsasign? But that's really incriminating yourself.
But if you're talking about 1 billion pesos, I'd sign a receipt. I'd want a receipt.
Or is it signed by supposedly yung mga tao nila? I mean, where are the two close aides supposed to be of Zaldico, former Congressman Zaldico?
They delivered. Diba? to Forbes and the Palace, I think. They delivered out. So the receipts would not be signed by them. But the receipts, I'm sure, are incriminating enough. Sorry, the receipts are conclusive, not just incriminating.
But who delivered it? Is it
Well, he
Mark
said-
Teksayan,
yes.
John Paul
Yes.
Estrada?
And he
silang
also
dalawa
said
po.
Orly Gutesa, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
But Orly Gutesa also said, sir, that he delivered money sa bahay ni Zaldico, I think sa Horizon, inakyat ang 48 na maleta, pagbaba 36 na lang. So
Okay.
may tinanggap siya. Was it your idea also to tell him that basically sabihin na wala siyang tinanggap? Pasensya na ho kayo, I'll be very blunt.
No.
Na magsinungaling, na wala siya, wag niya sabihin, o sige, ganito na po, wag niya sabihin tumanggap siya so that it does not incriminate him in any way.
No. It violates a fundamental rule that I have in litigation. Don't let the witness lie, because a lie is supported by another lie, by another lie, by another lie, by another lie. By the time you get to the first lie, nakalimutan mo na yun.
Okay,
so
let's
you
not-
remove a card, that's it.
Let's change the word. Hindi po lie, omit.
Omit that he didn't receive anything? No. No, that's a positive statement.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't tell him. Like I said, I don't try to modify my witnesses' statements. Mahirap.
But you always said that hindi ho siya masyadong magaling magpaliwanag. He's not very articulate. So I can imagine that you would probably somehow modify also or kind of teach.
Actually, if I had a hand in it, presentation would have been more chronological, would have been more logical.
This one.
Yeah.
Yung sa three-part series.
Yeah, yung 1, 2, 3. I would have started with 24, 23, 24, 25. I wouldn't have started with 25, then jump back to 24. If I had a hand in it.
Okay,
Diba?
very quickly, because we've run out of time, makakalimutan ko lang po ito. Yung sinabi po ni Congressman Zaldico na 100 billion in insert at 25% ay supposed to be napunta kay Pangulo at kay Speaker,
Yes.
former Speaker Martin Romualdez, para clear po. Sinabi na po ni Yusek Bernardo na sandali lang, that's impossible because out of that 100 billion, sabi po ni Yusek Bernardo, according to Senator Ping Lacson, he handled 80 out of the 80. Let me say this again. Out of that 100 billion, 82 billion went to the DPWH, and
Okay.
another 18 billion went to other agencies.
Okay.
Out of that 82 billion, Yusek Bernardo supposedly handled 52 billion out of the 82 billion.
Okay.
Okay. And then he went on further to say that he delivered 16% of that 52 billion to Yusek Trigive.
Okay?
Okay. So
Education.
that basically disputes the story of Zaldico. Just kindly respond to that, sir.
No. No, because my client never said that he delivered the 25 billion from the 100. He said that after the budget was approved in 2025, he asked the DPWH guys what the standard for the SOP was, and they said 25%. So he said, ganun pala. So that means 25% yun napunta sa kanila.
So, para clear,
225
hindi po
billion.
niya sinasabi doon sa 100 billion na in-insert ay 25 billion doon sa 100 billion ay siya nagdala at
No.
napunta kay Pangulo and Speaker.
I reviewed the video again because I was alarmed.
So he was saying in total, you know, if you look at the budget or the SOP, 25% would have gone to the president.
Would have gone to them.
And because may 100 billion na insertion, he surmised that 25%
Should have gone
of
to
that
them.
should have gone. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
All right.
So no conflict kay Yusek Bernardo.
Got it. We're gonna have to have a part 2 on this, Attorney Rui
All right.
Rondain. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Always happy to see you.
Thank you.
Ayan po ha, narinig po natin lahat ang posibleng mga mangyayari. Okay? So ayan po ha, paki-like, paki-share itong video na ito. At para marami po ang makaalam sa updates patungkol po dito kay Zaldico. Okay? And mag-subscribe na po kayo. At anong tawag dyan? Libre lang po ang mag-subscribe. Walang bayad yan. Kaya pindutin nyo yung subscribe button para naman ay updated kayo lagi sa ating mga balita. Okay? Kachat ko kasi ngayon yung aking kaibigan eh. Okay? So guys, See you in my next video. See you in my next live. Have a great day. Have a great night. God bless po sa ating lahat. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas and God save the Philippines. Bye-bye. See you in my next